Welcome to my website. This is going to be pretty straightforward and honest, no edits. When I walked into my first real restaurant, I didn't know anything about beer, anything about wine, and I always wanted to learn. And well, I think I know more about beer than anybody, even people I used to work with. That is in part thanks to USF. The beer science program has taught me quite a lot. So I'd like to give a shout out to Ken Caswell and Joe Askren for their expertise and their wealth of knowledge that they have shared with the embodiment of USF Sarasota Manatee hospitality students. Well, there's a lot more to beer than most people would think. I can tell you right now, one thing's for sure, there are 4 major ingredients. We have hops, but hops were not always part of the beer making process. Way back when, they used to use different things because nobody knew about hops. So they would use lemongrass and some other different substitutes. But what we use today is hops. Hops are flowery and they come from the cannabis family. Their resin is lupin. It's again, it's a resin, it's a yellowy resin. The hops are like a bud. I'll show you in the pictures here. You can see right now, this is what hops look like. And when you peel those open, there's certainly this resiny, sticky, yellow, and hops are very, very bitter. So that's hops. That's one of the essential ingredients in the beer making process. Although it can be substituted and make just as good of a beer, but it's not as commonplace. In fact, Germany once said that it's not a beer if it's not made with hops, but that became debunked because people do like other substitutes other than hops. Yeast, which is the most fascinating single-celled organism, both Ken and my sister have taught me, it's a fungus. It is not bacteria, it is a single-celled fungus, and it is currently in the air, and there's equal parts everywhere. No matter where you stand in this universe, you will be breathing in and breathing out and coming in contact with yeast. Yeast is living and it likes to eat sugar. Sugar is our third ingredient. Sugar comes from malted grains and malted barley. It's actually not our third ingredient. Our third ingredient is malted barley and grains, which sugar is derived from. The sugar is extracted from water, hot water, steep water, and during this process, the water brings out the enzymes to break apart the cellular tissue to break into the grains and suck out that sugar. It's what makes that happen. And these enzymes actually further break down the sugar to simple sugars, and that's what the yeast can attach itself to and produce ethanol and carbon dioxide. That's what makes beer bubbly. You can add carbon dioxide, but it's not the same effect that you will see from using yeast and sugar and looking at the byproducts of that chemical reaction. And our final ingredient, and these are in any order, our final ingredient is water, which is more important than people would think. It does affect how the whole thing is and the taste, the pH levels affect it. A lot of the brewing companies that we've witnessed.
It falls down to this device called a hydrator, which is that metal piece right here in between the mash tun itself and the tank in the air. That's where we introduce hot water. It's called a strike water. So you strike the grain with this hot water. the temperature of the strike water is extremely important. What happens is you strike it, temperature is going to drop a little bit because the grain's at a colder temperature. Then it becomes a mash. The mash is a mixture of hot water and milk grain.
So those are the 4 essential ingredients. Again, hops, malted barley, water, and yeast. So the sugar from the malted grains, which gives us a very sweet taste, it's like a syrup, it's certainly sugar, and it gives us that sweet taste, is necessary, again, for the yeast to produce carbon dioxide and ethanol. I'm going to use temperatures to break down those sugars, but it is primitive that you boil in the boil kettle after the mash time, that you boil this wort. This is called a wort. That syrup I was talking about, the grains, those grains. There's a thing of water here, and there's a thing of. This is awful, man. I feel like I'm just doing awful.
You're saying different things each time.
Huh?
You're saying different things each time.
I know. I'm gonna keep it simple. All right. Ready?